Imagine this. You grow up being told you're clumsy, forgetful, and just barely magical enough to belong at Hogwarts. You're bullied by your classmates, constantly underestimated, and even your teachers don't take you seriously. But in the end, you're the one who pulls the sword of Gryffindor from the sorting hat and takes down one of Voldemort's last Horcruxes. A cinematic close-up of Neville's face, showing his transformation from the scared first year to the brave young man. The lighting shifts from soft and uncertain to strong and confident. Neville Longbottom, the hero we overlooked. That's not Harry Potter's story, that's Neville Longbottom. And what most fans don't realize is that Neville's journey is one of the most tragic, inspiring, and heroic arcs in the wizarding world. Quick succession of dramatic moments. Bellatrix Lestrange's cruel smile, the sterile corridors of St. Mungo's Hospital, students practicing spells in the Room of Requirement, and the chaos of the final battle at Hogwarts. Each image is bathed in cinematic lighting with rich, saturated colors. But the movies left out some of the most powerful details. Today, we're diving into the complete, untold story of Neville Longbottom, the boy who could have been the chosen one and the hero who saved the wizarding world in his own way. Before we jump in, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell icon so you never miss our deep dives into the wizarding world. Neville was born just one day before Harry, on July 30th, 1980. And here's the chilling part. According to Trelawney's prophecy, Neville could have been the chosen one instead of Harry. Voldemort chose Harry, but if he had chosen differently, Neville might have been the one to face him. But tragedy struck early. His parents, Frank and Alice Longbottom, were auras and war heroes. After Voldemort's fall, they were captured and tortured by Bellatrix Lestrange and her Death Eater allies. A sterile, melancholic hospital corridor with pale green walls and soft clinical lighting. A young Neville walks slowly down the hallway, his small figure dwarfed by the institutional setting. The camera follows him with a gentle tracking shot, emphasizing his loneliness and the weight of his burden. They survived, but the torture drove them into permanent insanity. Unlike Harry, who lost his parents outright, Neville grew up visiting his, but in St. Mungo's Hospital, where they didn't even recognize him. In the books, there's a heartbreaking moment where Neville's mother hands him a candy wrapper. He keeps it, cherishing it as a gift, even though she no longer knows who he is. After this, Neville was raised by his grandmother, Augusta Longbottom. She loved him, but she was stern and constantly reminded Neville that his father had been a great aura. Neville grew up under enormous pressure to live up to that legacy. A creative, slightly stylized sequence showing young Neville falling from a window but bouncing harmlessly like a rubber ball. The scene has a magical, almost cartoonish quality while maintaining photorealistic elements. Golden afternoon light streams through the scene, making it feel both dangerous and miraculous. His relatives even doubted his magical ability. In fact, his uncle Algy once dangled Neville out a window to try and force the magic out of him. Neville fell, but instead of hitting the ground, he bounced. That moment proved he was indeed a wizard. This explains why Neville arrived at Hogwarts so shy, clumsy, and unsure of himself. He didn't think he was enough. At Hogwarts, Neville was often the butt of jokes, especially from Draco Malfoy and even Professor Snape, who delighted in humiliating him. He forgot passwords, misplaced his toad, and stumbled through classes. But Neville had a strength hidden beneath the surface: herbology. While he struggled in potions and defense against the dark arts, he excelled in herbology, eventually becoming one of the best students in the subject. And we can't forget his first true act of bravery: standing up to Harry, Ron, and Hermione in Sorcerer's Stone. Dumbledore awarded him points, saying, "It takes a great deal of bravery to stand up to our enemies, but just as much to stand up to our friends." That was the first glimpse of Neville's true courage. Neville's turning point came with Dumbledore's army in Order of the Phoenix. He trained hard, learning spells and dueling techniques, and became braver with each lesson. At the Battle of the Department of Mysteries, Neville fought alongside Harry and the others, even while his nose was broken and he could barely cast spells. A tense confrontation scene with Neville, injured but defiant, facing the menacing Bellatrix Lestrange. The lighting is dramatic and contrasted, showing the emotional weight of this encounter between Neville and his parents' torturer. Facing Bellatrix Lestrange, the woman who tortured his parents, showed just how far he had come. Neville, now clearly older and more mature, stands before a group of students in what appears to be a hidden location within Hogwarts. His posture is that of a natural leader, and the other students look to him with respect and trust. The lighting suggests secrecy, but also hope. By Deathly Hallows, Neville was no longer the timid boy we met in Year 1. While Harry, Ron and Hermione were away, Neville kept the spirit of resistance alive at Hogwarts. He turned Dumbledore's army into an underground rebellion, standing up to the Carrows and Snape himself. He was beaten, tortured, but never broken. And then came his defining moment. During the Battle of Hogwarts, Voldemort called for surrender. Neville refused. Voldemort even mocked him, offering him a place in his new world. But Neville stood tall and defied him. When the Sorting Hat appeared, Neville pulled out the sword of Gryffindor. With one swing, he destroyed Nagini, Voldemort's final Horcrux. That single act gave Harry the chance to finish the fight. After the war, Neville chose a humble life. He became the herbology professor at Hogwarts, beloved by students for his kindness and wisdom. He married Hannah Abbott, a Hufflepuff who shared his warmth and loyalty. Neville's story proves that true heroism isn't about destiny, it's about resilience, compassion and courage. He may not have been the chosen one, but in many ways, Neville Longbottom was the hero the wizarding world truly needed. So while Harry fulfilled the prophecy, Neville fulfilled something greater. He proved that even the most underestimated person can rise up and change the world. If you enjoyed this deep dive into Neville's untold story, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe and ring that notification bell, because we've got even more Wizarding World stories coming your way. Now tell me in the comments, do you think Neville could have defeated Voldemort if he had been the chosen one? I can't wait to hear your thoughts.